Getting unstuck by understanding the mind, no kicking needed. Welcome back to another episode of Rapid Conscious Reprogramming Community. Here, Tommy Walker, the mind engineer. And today I want to talk about this because I keep seeing over and over again, all over the internet, social media, people teaching how to get unstuck. And I really believe that there is a much different way to be able to start making changes in your life. And this is what I want to share today. So stick around. We're going to cover this and I'm going to share some insight and tools to help you get unstuck. Sorry, give me 1 second. Something happened. Here we go. Some tech issues. Here we go. So stick around because I'm going to talk about how the mind works, why you're getting stuck, and how to start getting unstuck without kicking yourself in the butt. I hear so many people out there that they're using fear to move forward in their life. And yes, it is a way, don't get me wrong, but I've seen the impact that can happen. And I have worked with people all around the world in the last 15 years that they have been using these different methods to try to get them moving forward. And normally they're causing more pain in their life, even without realizing. I want to prove this today with you. So one of the biggest methods out there that people are using is what's called the Dickinson or Dickens method. That is to see the worst case scenario if you don't take action. So imagine that you got to do your taxes, you got to change jobs, you got to start doing exercises, you got to change your diet, you're going to take care of yourself. So imagine the worst case scenario. So imagine dieting. I imagine that if I don't change my diet, I might die because I'm not taking care, right, of my body, what I get into. So I imagine myself in the hospital, with a heart attack or even dying if I don't change my diet. And unfortunately, a lot of people use that and might find some change. It's not fun scaring myself into actions. Thank you, Suzanne, for sharing that. Exactly. It is not fun, but a lot of people use it because if they tell you that that's the only way to really start taking actions, Suzanne, right? And this is how we were brought up. And this is so important to understand. Why is it that so many people teach this? And why is it that so many people resonate with this? It happens again that we were brought up like this. Yes? 1 second. So as we were brought up like this, it resonates because our parents use fear. In school, fear was used. And unfortunately, we were so, in a way, surrounded with these techniques that they resonate. That they resonate doesn't mean that they are right. And this is important to understand. That they resonate doesn't mean it's right, because for many years we used to drive without seatbelts, right? That doesn't mean it was the right thing to do, but we did it because we were used to that. Then suddenly nowadays, tell me this, when you sit in the car and you don't put your seatbelt on, do you normally feel weird without the seatbelt on in your car? Because it's something that it's so natural now that we don't have it, it feels unnatural. At the beginning, when we started doing the transition between not using so much the seatbelt to using it, at the beginning it wasn't comfortable, right? But then we started getting used to it to the point that now it's part of us, right? The same way is this. A lot of people use fear to change things in their life because that's how they were brought up and that's how they've learned to make changes. Unfortunately, look at this, and I figured this out some years ago. When we were kids, right, we had this authoritarian figure telling us what to do, our parent, teachers, uncle, aunts, whatever. So they used fear and we moved out of fear. Yes, it worked. The thing is, nowadays, normally we don't have that fear authoritarian figure in front of us. Maybe our boss, so we tend to do the things that we need to do. But when it has to do with doing things that are for us, like pursuing our goals, or the things that are good for us, going to the gym, eating better, changing jobs, I don't know, doing things that are good for you, why don't you do them? Why are you stuck? Because you don't have that figure. So yes, these so-called gurus are using those old techniques nowadays still, but that is old school to get you to do something because you become that authoritarian figure again to yourself, where you beat yourself up mentally and emotionally to do what you need to do. But again, unfortunately, it's not the best option. So now that you understand how the mind works, why you're doing what you're doing, let me go a little bit deeper into how to get unstuck in a different way. This is the important part that I want to share today. How do we get unstuck? First of all, we need to understand why we're stuck in the first place. Today, I was working with a woman that I've been working for a while, and today she was telling me that she's stuck, and sometimes she feels like these dogs are going into the vet, and they putting their claws down and they're pushing back. They don't want to go to the vet. So I asked her, okay, why would a dog do that? Because they have past experiences that were traumatic for the dog that left a mental scar in their mind. So now when you take them to the same place again or a similar place, the dog does the association and doesn't want to go in there because it knows it's going to go through pain. Okay, we're not so different as a dog. Seriously, we have done associations as kids that something could be painful. So imagine that you got to do your taxes. You got to, I don't know, start eating better. And you're finding it difficult to, create consistency. Most of the times is because, imagine food, you could be using food to numb the pain. So if you're using food to numb the pain and you're trying to stop eating without really understanding why you're stuck, unfortunately, it's going to make it very difficult. We make it easier to make changes when we understand. And I use this analogy all the time. If I'm going to take the car to the mechanic, if I take it to a mechanic that doesn't know about cars, that he just started, practicing on cars, I wouldn't take my car there, right? Because I want somebody that understands cars, that is going to fix my car, right? We want that. At the same thing, if you're going to hire a plumber to fix something in your house, you're not going to hire a newbie because he might screw up at something in your house. This is the same thing. A mechanic is able to understand how the car works to be able to fix it. We need to understand how the mind works. Why is it thinking the way it's thinking? Why is it acting the way it's acting out to start making changes? So if you're stuck in something, whether it is in general in your life or specific areas, ask yourself the first basic question. How am I feeling around this that I need to do? Whether it is, again, taxes, changing jobs, asking for a raise, asking something for your partner, seeking for a partner, whatever it is, growing your business, it doesn't matter. How do I feel around this specific task that I need to do that I'm not doing? And let yourself express, like, I'm scared, I'm angry, I'm feeling shame, I'm feeling this, I'm feeling that. Connect with the emotions. The emotions, as you connect with emotions, I'm going to let you go deeper into the subconscious mind to identify the negative story you're telling yourself and the false, limited, or negative belief, what I call the partial truth that you're telling yourself. So imagine again, I got to change jobs, right? And I'm not seeking for new interviews. How do I feel around? Imagine that I sit down in front of the computer and I'm going to start sending resumes. How do I feel about doing that? Or maybe uneasy. Maybe start slowly bringing something up. Uneasy, not comfortable. Okay, why? What is going on deeper? And the mind doesn't reveal the truth right away, because many times if there's another part of us that is going to be judging me for being scared or being rejected at an interview or not being good enough or whatever the story I'm telling myself, the mind is not going to tell you, oh, Tommy, you're scared of being rejected. That's why you're not sending resumes out. That's why you're not changing jobs. The mind is not going to openly say something like that. Okay, it needs some love and acceptance, unconditional love environment for the mind to start opening up. So start practicing, at least in connecting with the small emotions that might come up. So I feel uneasy. I feel, uncomfortable. Okay, that's a good start. What else? Start going deeper. Normally, there should be something like fear. Fear what? So, how do I feel? Why do I feel this? Second question. Why do I feel this? I feel scared of being rejected. I feel scared of being judged, criticized, not getting the job, not getting the offer, whatever. Right? Okay. And how would that make me feel about myself? Third question. How would that make me feel about myself if I don't get the job? If I'm not called back or whatever? It's going to make me feel like a failure. It's going to make me feel not good enough. It's going to make me feel inadequate. It's going to make me feel not worthy. Now we have the story that is creating the emotion that is keeping you stuck, the fear that is creating the procrastination, the keeping you stuck. When you understand that and you create the environment for you to be able to explore the mind, it's going to make it much easier to understand what's going on and to start making changes. So how do I feel? Why do I feel this? And how does this make me feel about myself? And then I can start asking myself, where did I go through situations in my past, like the dog that went to the vet and doesn't want to go to the vet again? Where did I go through different experiences that could have created these beliefs that then ended up creating these behaviors? Because when I kick myself, again, to stop eating, imagine I kick myself in the butt to stop eating, I'm creating more pain. And if I started eating food in the first place to numb the pain, I'm going to end up eating more, not less. So you got to be very careful because this is what most people are doing. And for most people, it's not working anymore. Authoritarian methods were very effective many years ago, right? When we were kids or generations, even remember that our grandparents normally were hit at school. They were hit at home and they were even hit at school. That's why authoritarian worked for so long, because kids were really scared of authoritarian figures. And that's, again, why they use these methods even today. And there's many big names out there that are still using these methods to scare the shit out of yourself to do what you need to do. Because we come from that, but there has been a change, big change in the world, in universe, whatever, in the world, in a way, where now there's a lot of people that doesn't work anymore. And with kids nowadays, it is very difficult to apply those type of things that worked in the past, right? It has been proven that hitting kids is not okay. And that has changed. But remember, many years ago, even today, parents, and I've talked to parents that say, yeah, every now and then a slap to our kids is a good thing. I'm not going to start into a fight with those people, but I don't believe that. I've never hit my kids, and I will try to never, ever do it. But I was hit by my mom and my dad. So I understand that it worked in the past, don't get me wrong, but that doesn't mean it is the right way to go. There are different ways. So we need to stop kicking ourselves in the butt to do things. We need to really understand what's going on in the mind. If I have a broken leg and I don't want to walk because it hurts, if I have a hurting thing in my mind that is pulling me away from, imagine that I feel that I'm not good enough, I'm inadequate, and that is why I'm scared of putting myself out there to get another job, to find a partner, to grow my business, whatever it is. If I don't work on this, it's going to make it very difficult to get unstuck. So now I explained to you why kicking yourself in the butt used to work, but it's not working for a lot of people out there nowadays, why they're still using those methods, right? And I hear lots of mindset coaches, lots of gurus out there that are still using that. I don't believe in that. That is not unconditional love. That is not self-love. They all talk about self-love, but then they teach you to scare the shit out of yourself to do something. You know, would you do that to a 5-year-old? Would you do that to an 8-year-old? Scare the shit out of them for them not to do whatever they're doing. Normally, a loving parent would say, like, no, they would try to find some other way to do that. Well, why wouldn't you do it to them? You wouldn't. Now that you're understanding better, why do you do it to yourself? Understand what's going on in your mind. Understand what is a protective mechanism. What is that behavior coming from? Normally, it's the solution to a deeper problem. Procrastination is the solution to avoid pain, to avoid being a failure, being inadequate, being not good enough. understand how the mind works, understand your own unique stories. What are your own unique experiences from the past that created this life that you're living today? Why you're stuck in different aspects of your life? And from there, then you can start bringing compelling arguments. You can bring a higher truth to knock down in a good way the false stories that you have, the partial truths that you have, to be able to start moving forward. I forgot to say something. If you're watching live on social media, hashtag live. If you're watching replay, hashtag replay. This allows more people to see this. The algorithm lately is working really bizarre. So if you can comment, if you can put a heart on social media, that would be great. So more people get to see it. More people engage with this, more people get to see this. And the idea is to share this with the world. I'm so tired of hearing all these gurus sharing all these things that are not really working for most people. So I hope this makes sense for you. I hope you can stop kicking yourself in the butt and you can start taking loving actions to make changes. It's like if the car is not working, are you going to grab a bat and you're going to start smashing the motor to see if it works? You wouldn't do that to the car. Well, when you start smashing your mind with fear, with judgment, with criticism, with rejection to get something doing, it's like smashing your car because it's not working. Understand how it works, or get somebody that can help you understand how it works to make changes. If you take the car to the mechanic, why not go to somebody that specializes in mindset to help you with this? And this is exactly the work that I've been doing for the last 15 years, helping people all around the world understand their mind, their unique behaviors, where they come from, why were they created, and to help them start making changes. I hope that makes sense. I hope you're able to start loving yourself, less kicking, more loving, and I guarantee that that can start making big changes in your life. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you